Prost, amigos. Salud. Hello, Knicks fans. Big Nick Burt with the Big Nick Energy. Coming after a loss from the Indiana Pacers. I am not even remotely upset about it because it is preseason, and Tom Thibodeau said to the bench squad, this is your game to win or this is your game to lose. And that being said, let's just jump right into it. I honestly thought the defense was significantly better. All right? And outside of a few mishaps, I thought the game went really, really well. Now, what happened was third quarter Knicks came out and decided to not hit their shots, not have a fluid offense, and weren't hitting anything and weren't getting anything going and lost the game. So third quarter Knicks came out as the starters, and the fourth quarter Knicks came out, the bench squad came out and just drove it home. And that's fine. It's preseason, so we can take these gambles and we can see what we got. So let's see what we got. Right here we got Evan Fournier kind of getting beat off of the dribble, but he stays true, stays in the lane to help out, gets his feet outside of the restricted area, gets the charge, and I really like that about Evan. So I highlighted this one because Evan Fournier, though he's not exactly that quick on his feet, he can't really stay in front of every player. He is intelligent enough and willing enough to put his body in the way and sacrifice for the team and get the charge, and I really like that about him. Now, next up, taking a look at Julius Randle with Jalen Brunson and Evan Fournier at the top of the key. Now, I really thought Julius should have set a harder pick for Brunson. He didn't. He swung it, and Evan ended up saving the play with a very long bomb, which is another attribute of Evan Fournier that I really appreciate. His willingness to sacrifice his body and his willingness to pull the trigger and his ability to dribble, ball handle, pass. All those things that were a godsend for him in Orlando. I really wish we got this guy a couple years sooner, but, it is what it is. So now a lot of people on my last video were saying I was a little too unfair to Cam Reddish. And in retrospect, you're probably right. I was extremely critical of Cam Reddish. I think he should be at a higher level that he is. And that's nobody's fault. So instead of being super critical on Cam Reddish, let's take a better objective look at the New York Knicks, specifically at our young star, RJ Barrett. Here he gets beat backdoor. He gets caught looking at the ball instead of looking at his man. The moment he looks at the ball, his man goes backdoor and beats him, gets a nice dunk out of it. Very not good. Don't like to see that. But on the other end of the court, we can see RJ Barrett with a nice give and go. He catches his guy slipping, gets all the way to the basket, meets Miles Turner at the rim, takes the body contact, and finishes the layup. And that is literally the high point of RJ Barrett, where he can really succeed in the NBA and where we want to see him at 90% of the time down the court. Moving on to Emmanuel quickly. I thought he had a very terrible possession to start the game tonight, where he runs a pick and roll with Hartenstein, immediately pulls up for the three, realizes he's covered, and now he should either make the pass to the corner or the pass to Hartenstein. He wants to make the one to Hartenstein, but Hartenstein is not paying attention, and instead it's a turnover. Now contrast that with this next play. Here is Hartenstein setting a nice pick for IQ. He gets free. A little bit of space is all he needs. He pulls the trigger, hits the three-pointer, and that's what we really like. So two sides of the same coin. Emmanuel quickly jumping with nowhere to go, and Emmanuel quickly making the right decision, hitting a three-pointer. Next up, we see Fournier and Randle, and I really wish Julius Randle would set a screen for Fournier. He gets the ball. He's pretty much covered. I really want Randle to step up, set the pick for him, and do a little pick and roll or pick and pop or something. But instead, he tries to post his player, ends up with a turnover when Evan tries to dump it into him. Contrast that. Here, I really want, again, Randle to set the screen for Fournier. He doesn't, so Fournier backs it back out. And I think that ends up, I think RJ actually ends up driving. But off the ball, though, I really wanted, on this initial drive, Randle to step up, set the screen for Fournier so he can keep going on his left instead of kicking it back out to RJ. Now here is what we want to see. Julius Randle sets a good pick for Fournier. Fournier hits Randle on his roll. Randle gets to the center of the paint. The center comes off of Mitchell Robinson to guard Randle, and Randle's able to dump it inside to Mitchell Robinson for a clean dunk. That's literally all we want from this play. And now if that center play isn't open, the two-man game between Fournier and Randle should result in a three-pointer. So we're either looking at a three or we're looking at a dunk, and that's what I would want to see. So we got two examples of bad execution there and one example of a very nice execution. So, obviously we want to see more of that good execution from Fournier and Julius Randle, and I think a lot of that is just Randle not recognizing, hey, maybe I shouldn't do this one-on-one play. I should actually do a team play, set a pick, roll, make it happen. Next play up, looking at the Knicks on defense. And now a lot of people gave me some grief. And admittedly, I was being too critical. And I'm going to keep saying that because that's why I take these film clips and I look at them consistently, because I know I'm too critical. I know I'm biased a number of different ways, right? Like I like RJ Barrett too much. I like Obi Toppin too much. I dislike Cam. I dislike, etc., whatever. So here is our dude Cam Reddish getting a beautiful steal. He is playing right where he should be. He's got his eyes on the ball. He's got his eyes on his man. He reads the pass, and the moment they throw it, he snatches it right out of the air, runs it up the court. Nice little behind the back. Oh, finishes it with the left hand off the glass. And that is just what he is able to do. Look at this play. That's the peak of Cam Reddish. That play right there. He's in the passing lane. He's paying attention, playing good defense, and turning that into offense. We love to see it. But from, 4 years now? 3-4 years in the NBA? He should be at the higher level versus, Obi Toppin, who's able to do that now. What is his third year, I think? I don't know. He's an older player, but whatever. I don't really care. I think I'm holding Cam Reddish to a higher standard because he went to Duke. He's been touted as like an offensive-minded player, and he never seems to get it together on the defensive end, and I really want to see him get that, and that's why I'm holding him to this high standard. I'm being a little bit more critical of his defensive plays. So you saw my last video. I said, my guy Ritt Holtzman there on Twitter, he was saying, this was actually a good play where I thought it was bad. I still wanted his closeout to be better, but, we can respect the fact that he was still there, right? He was still there. He wasn't completely lost, and that's an overstatement on my end, right? So now to end these clips that I got here is just Cam Reddish completely losing the ball. I don't even know what for. It was a must-score situation. We really needed to get some points, and this is on Emmanuel Quickley as much as it is on Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish loses the ball, but Emmanuel Quickley was making some poor decisions with the ball coming up, and that's where we really need Derrick Rose, because in a situation like that, the third quarter, the fourth quarter, where we needed points, Derrick Rose would not let that breakdown happen. He either would have scored himself or got a pass off. And that's just the difference between an all-star veteran, top 1% of all 1%, right? Versus, an up-and-coming third-year player who was never supposed to be a point guard to begin with. So the New York Knicks lost to the Pacers, but it wasn't a really bad game, we already whipped them with our starters. This was more of an example of our bench depth lacking, right? We got a good bench. You know, Quentin Grimes didn't play. Derrick Rose didn't play. So with those two players right there, we would see a much better improvement. But at the same time, McBride didn't even look that good out there last night. Quickly didn't look all that good. He had some moments. Cam Reddish didn't look all that good. He had some moments. But Hartenstein didn't look that good. He had some moments. I think Obi honestly stands out as the one bench player who really was like, okay, on both ends was like solid. And I think that's saying something for Obi's work ethic. He didn't come into the league with either a huge offensive bag or a huge defensive bag, but at the same time, he's shown his work ethic where now it's like, wow, this guy is really serviceable. That fake, to the dunk, perfect. And then two, we forget the fact that a lot of these transition dunks that he's starting is because he's getting steals. The Knicks are now poking the ball away on drivers, at least against the Pacers and the Pistons, which don't have great floor spacing and great shooters. So I'm not expecting to see that against the Golden State Warriors. But the fact that we're seeing more of the off-ball players cheating a little bit, trying to poke the ball away, that's a good sign to me. And I'm just excited for this season, really. So take these clips for what they are, and if I'm being too biased, still let me know. But I think I've pointed out some all around type of lowlights and some highlights too. So get excited. I think our next game is on Friday against the Wizards. That's what I've been told, and that should be a win, right? That should be a win. Knicks should be coming in looking very, very good, and we're getting every day closer to the regular season. I'm very excited for that. So let's tune in, all right? Let's keep looking at this film, looking at these open practice film, right? And just seeing what Thibodeau is doing and seeing what our young guys are capable of doing and how they're growing. And, hey, notable shout-out to Jericho Sims for being in the right place on defense, being in the right place on offense. This guy is really getting good. I think we're going to see a decent amount of him this year. And that's just my take right now, all right? Big Nick Burt with the Big Nick Energy, y'all. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you guys checking out my analysis because as Thibodeau says, right, we need to look at more film. We can't criticize until we look at more film. So tune in. Let's keep looking at it and getting better every day. Thank you all.